everybody. And along with LeeAndrea, we have Nina Omomo. Sorry if I...
No, that's good.
Okay. And Nina is the restoration coordinator at the Literacy for Environmental Justice, where her focus on ecological restoration is done in conjunction with youth education and environmental advocacy. She is an affiliate of the board of CERCAL, California Society for Ecological Restoration, and will be serving as their diversity chair for the 2023 conference. So please make your way up.
Thank you so much for being here today. My name is LeeAndrea Morton. I am the Director of Development at Literacy for Environmental Justice, also known as LEDGE. I'm going to be telling you a bit about the history of and current reality of the community we're working in, Bayview, and a little bit about our organization.
My name is Nina Omomo. I'm the restoration coordinator, and after LeeAndrea, I'll be speaking on a specific wetlands restoration project we've been working on.
So, LEDGE is located in Bayview-Hunters Point. Bayview-Hunters Point is a low-income community with over 40% of people living below the federal poverty level. It's a community of color and a historically black neighborhood. In the early days of LEDGE, young people and community members, community organizations, members of LEDGE all got together to take down and shut down a PG&E power plant. The power plant was leaking a lot of harmful substances like PCBs, asbestos, lead, and this was causing harmful health impacts on nearby residents. So the PG&E power plant is just one among many industrial sites in Bayview-Hunters Point because it is zoned residential industrial, which means industrial facilities can be located next to homes. So now, 25 years later, since we were born, we're running a variety of programs, including environmental education, and we do ecological restoration in southeast San Francisco. So a bit more about Bayview. Bayview is considered an environmental justice community. That's a term you may have heard about. Environmental justice means, in summary, all people have the right to clean air, water, and to live in a healthy and safe environment. And you can learn more about that by just researching environmental justice principles, because there's more. But this is Bayview, and if you look at a map of Bayview, these are some of the green spaces on the map. So this is a shoreline. Up on the right is Yosemite Slough. That was taken about 1.5 years ago. There has been some cleanup there since then. But these are areas that are considered brownfields, either currently or formerly polluted. We're working to restore some of these places. So this is the Hunters Point Shipyard, which is a federal Superfund site. That means the federal government has deemed it requires long-term cleanup, which makes sense because there is nuclear radiation on this site, dating back to World War II. So here's a picture of the Hunters Point Shipyard during World War II. It was during this time that people from all over the countries, Black families and individuals were recruited to work at this naval base. And so folks, so part of the Manhattan Project was being carried out at the Hunters Point Naval Shipyard, which means that there were nuclear testing going on in buildings as well as on ships. Ships would go out to sea, nuclear tests would be run, they would come back, and then Black naval officers were cleaning up these radioactive materials without knowing what they were, or that there would be negative health consequences, and they and their families were impacted. And so after World War II, there was not adequate support to transition people out of military work once there was no more need for the shipyard. And so naval housing transitioned to public housing, and we're still seeing all the impacts of this time today. And there's still contamination at the naval shipyard that needs to be cleaned up. So there are over 300 toxic sites in Bayview-Hunters Point. So on the bottom right, you can see the Hunters Point Naval Shipyard in red, and all these shapes and dots represent like hazardous waste, underground storage tanks, and just other hazardous sites. And another thing located in Bayview is the southeast treatment plant. I don't know why it's hard to say. Southeast treatment plant, which processes over 80% of San Francisco's sewage, raw sewage. And that gets discharged into San Francisco Bay, which is legal. There's legal amounts that it's going on, but it also happens in excessive amounts too. And you can find out a lot of this information using Cal EnviroScreen. It's an amazing resource that shows you data like this and demographics all over the state of California. Oh, let me just mention too that sea level rise, because we're a shoreline community, is a huge threat to our community, not just in terms of infrastructure. Our infrastructure is threatened, like homes and businesses, but also sea level rise can unearth and move materials around. And the shipyard is a prime example of an area that will be impacted by sea level rise. So air quality and asthma are highly correlated, and we can see this in Bayview. So this is a map, these are 4 maps of San Francisco and the neighborhoods in San Francisco. Bayview is in the very bottom right corner. And what you can see is that nitrogen dioxide and sulfur dioxide are higher in Bayview than most other neighborhoods in San Francisco, and particulate matter is highest in Bayview. Compared to any other community in San Francisco. And asthma hospitalizations are highest in Bayview-Hunters Point compared to any other neighborhood in San Francisco. So, LEDGE has responded to these issues over the past 25 years by working to create an opportunity for residents to improve their own health and to participate in healthy activities, but also to improve the health of the Bayview environment. So some of these activities look like, we have a youth education program where we take kids out kayaking and on San Francisco Bay and camping, and we also get kids out into the parks to help with our ecological restoration projects and actually put plants in the ground, like our, what's her name?
Kathy.
Like Kathy was saying, yeah, love the model. We do that too. Yeah, so, okay, and then we also have an internship program for young adults. It's called Eco Apprentices, and it's for like 18 to 25 or so range young people who are interested in entering the environmental field but may not have any background and may have barriers to employment. And so we're trying to offer like a non-traditional pathway for underrepresented San Francisco young people to get into the environmental field. And so what we offer is a training program where people can come and learn how to like collect seed from remnant plant populations, native plant populations right around our area, actually even in Bayview. There are plants that have been there always, which is amazing, thanks to the Ohlone people. And they grow, Eco Apprentices and their staff grow these plants in our native plant nursery. We grow over 50,000 plants every year, and we just doubled the footprint of our nursery, so we're going to be growing more. Yeah. Yeah, and so this nursery supports a lot of our projects, which is to plant plants in public open spaces in Bayview. We have planted over 250,000 native plants in southeast San Francisco since we started. Yeah. And yeah, so we're growing like close to half of the native plant species in the county of San Francisco. And we have restored over 100 acres of public open space in southeast San Francisco since we got started. So, yeah. And you are clapping tapping for thousands of people because this has been a project of thousands of people. And Nina is going to tell you about one of those projects.
Get Nina!
Thank you so much, LeeAndrea. I'm really happy to be here today. Again, my name is Nina Omomo. I'm the Restoration Coordinator at Literacy for Environmental Justice, or as LeeAndrea said, LEDGE is what we refer to. My role at LEDGE consists of designing stewardship plans, leading our urban greening team and eco-apprentices at our restoration sites, as well as leading volunteers through our community-based restoration. The last 2 years, LEDGE has spent at Heron's Head Park, which is located right off 3rd Street in the neighborhood of Bayview in San Francisco. Heron's Head Park is a historical wetlands that within the last couple of years has seen really dramatic shoreline erosion. And the keepers of Heron's Head Park, which is the Port of San Francisco, has hired LEDGE to implement a 5-year shoreline stabilization program that they have designed and titled the Shoreline Resilience Project. We are experimenting with new stabilization techniques referred to as a living shoreline. So traditionally, shoreline erosion has been mitigated with what we are now calling gray or harder techniques or hardscapes. So an example of that, which you can see on the right side of this bottom left photo, would be like concrete or boulders or riprap would be put in to mitigate the shoreline erosion. And now a lot of restoration projects are experimenting with the left side of this scale, which is what we're referring to as the living shoreline. And instead of putting in those hardscapes, we would be putting in native plant revegetation instead, which provides a buffer for upland and breaks and would really do the same thing in an even better way than those hardscapes. Oh, and I did want to say, Heron's Head Park, there's a picture of it on the top right. That's what it looks like. It actually looks like a heron's head, so it's kind of cool. So, in our first year of restoration in spring 2020, our eco-apprentices and the urban greening team began our restoration with invasive removal. Specifically of Algerian sea lavender. Anyone who's worked in a coastal wetlands or on the coast is maybe familiar with this persistent invasive. As you can see in these two left pictures, there's areas of the park where Algerian sea lavender covered almost 80 or 90% of the landscape. A really cool part about the invasive removal that we've done there with our eco-apprentices is that all of the weeds that we've pulled, and we've done over 4 acres by the end of the first year of removal, has all been done by hand. And this is such a hardy invasive that traditionally it would have been met with the use of Roundup or other chemicals and herbicides to remove such a heavy cover of invasives. Going into our second year, we have continued with the Algerian sea lavender removal by hand. This picture on the left and in the middle is of a huge patch of the sea lavender in flower. It gets kind of, ironically, these really pretty purple flowers. But we'll go in and we'll remove it all by hand. That middle picture is this year's eco-apprentice cohort removing all the Algerian sea lavender. We bag it up and then we take it to the compost. The second part of this year's restoration has consisted of a huge native outplanting. The plant palette this year consisted of saltgrass, marsh gum plant, and alkali heath. On the left, you can see baby marsh gum plants going in, and then on the right, you can see the alkali heath being planted And also really interesting, we noticed by the second year, a lot of the areas that are now bare because of the removal of the Algerian sea lavender are having volunteer alkaline heath that are resprouting and growing in those bare spots where we removed all the Algerian sea lavender. And this year, the first year of our outplanting, the second year of our 5-year project with the port, we have outplanted 14,000 natives. All right, the last part of our restoration project that we've been working on there, and one of the coolest in my opinion, has been the reintroduction of Sueda californica, which is an endangered species, into the park. We've been doing this work in conjunction with the Estuary and Ocean Science Center, which is part of San Francisco State University. And we've been doing it under the lab of Kathy Boyer and her research assistant, Margot Bookbinder. I put their contact information below because they're really the ones who've done the research for it, and we've helped them, and we've done the propagating in our nursery and the outplanting, but it's really been a collaborative effort with them, specifically those two people. So on the left you can see the green vegetation in the middle of that photo is actually the Sueda that we planted in the first year. At this site specifically, we have seen a 98% survival rate of the Sueda that we planted. Yeah, we planted about 100 and only 2 didn't make it. So as you can see, the ones that we put in the first year are actually, there's a couple that are almost 5 feet in length. So they've really taken off and really done really well there. And it's really cool, actually, the Sueda is now, it's now the largest population in the San Francisco Bay with the reintroduction. So that's a really big success story for us with the restoration. And then on the right is just a picture of the Sueda when we were propagating it in our native plant nursery that is located just down the street from Heron's Head Park. So yeah, we're really looking forward to the continuation of working for the port and the next 3 years of the resilience, the Shoreline Resilience Project. And yeah, I'm going to pass it back to LeeAndrea, and she'll give you a little bit of information how to contact us and follow our work that we are doing.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, and thanks everybody for listening to our talk. And we just wanted to let you know that we have a table. You can come and visit us. We have lots of staff who will be there. And like I said, we doubled the footprint of our native plant nursery. So if you want to talk about growing plants with us or anything else, or if you're interested in anything about any of the programs you heard about, please stop by. Yeah, email us, visit our website, donate, follow us on Instagram. Thank you.